Hello, everybody. My name is Seth Ehas once again here for with the video or the vlog for the inquiry mind question. What my question was: why are women usually paid less than men for doing the same job? Um, I did couple different types of research for this video. Read a handful of articles from Forbes magazine, an HR website called HR Drive, The Economist, and I actually interviewed all the HR managers at my company, as well as the director of warehouse operations from the HC companies as well, just to get like live information uh, for the topic. Um, so a lot of the handful of articles I read, like I said, I named some of the sources I use. Um, Depending on the source I read, I guess it all would want to depend on who they were interviewing for their source. Um, say about 90% of the articles I read said that women are in fact paid more or paid less than men for doing the same job. The one article I read says that while that's true, it's not nearly as drastic as what everybody else seems to make it out to be. Says on average it's 4% less for just for a few examples. It was software engineers averages 4% women to men, and that could vary on experience levels or time in the position. But even when stated same amount of time and everything are equal, still there is a 4% difference. Project managers, it's a generic term, but project manager would be for depending on the company, depending on the project. Also 4% difference. Computer administration, um, there was a 3% difference, male to female ratio. Registered nurses, which is a field dominated by women, over 80% women occupied field. It's a 2% difference, which you figured was there's mostly women in that. You figured they'd be earning more, but that's not the case. Um, Elementary education, teachers, instructors, 1% difference. And speaking, like I said, I interviewed HR. It's a 1% difference across, on average, for human resources or human resource administration across the board nationwide in the U.S. Um, Now, the other article that I'm going to quote, it was from the website called HR Drive, and they also use the number of 4%. On average, it's 4% men to women, where men make more than women for doing the same job. But it ranges. They said it fluctuates from 4%. So where the worst cases that they discovered was 45%, which is insane. And then also something I didn't know. April 10th every year in the United States is what's known as Equal Pay Day. And by that, I mean that means everybody makes the same money that day. It means that that's the day of the year that a woman has to work to in order to equate the same amount of earnings as her male counterpart from the previous year. So you're 4 months into the new year before they're even for their pay is equal, which isn't right. And the reasons for this is the thing I read is one, like I say, it could be experience. Could be time in. Women are the predominant caregivers for the family's children on average. So therefore, there's more outside work functions that they're dealing with or home life. So to men who of the same job that have kids as well, but the women are doing the heavy lifting in that aspect, so it pulls them away from work. And as wrong as it is, they're getting penalized for it. There's also they call the glass ceiling effect. It's It's just they don't seem to be able to break through to the higher levels of management or executive level due to just gender bias. There's an article I read. Or not the article, but I did interview the HR manager from the HC companies, and her name's Carol, and this is just her opinion, but it was on the topic. She says it still occurs, but it's not as prevalent as in the past, and due to the fact that this is a very political talking point, but because it's getting so much attention, especially here in the U.S., it's being addressed, and the gap is closing. It's not perfect. Hopefully, it soon will be sooner rather than later, but it is being addressed. It's and it. I mean, it's sad, but in only 2 of the Fortune 500 companies out there, they have female CEOs and female CFOs. It's the Hershey Corporation and GM. For GM, it's the first time it's ever been done by one of the big 3 auto groups in the U.S. And like I said, Hershey's the only other company that does it, and they're both Fortune 500 companies. So it's a very small amount, but it seems to be trending in the right direction. I know 2 out of the thousands of companies in the United States isn't a lot, and it'd be dumb to say, well, it's a start, but the 2 is better than 0, which it is, but improvements needed. There was a study done of 25 countries by a consultant firm, Korn. Sorry, I forgot where I was at. Korn Ferry. Sorry about that. And they stated that the exact opposite, basically, of what the HR Drive articles stated, where they were saying it's up to 45%, or 4% to 45% difference. They're saying that 98% of careers or jobs make the same pay, male to female ratio. Did not state which 25 countries. There's supposed to be a mandatory study done in the U.S. as well, but the current president decided to halt that study. So I'm not going to get into a debate on political leanings on that, but so all in all, it's good information. There was no definite why. I'm just assuming it's just because I'm going to blame it on gender bias. So hopefully we're moving to correct that going forward in the very near future. Thank you.